You guys, I know, right? Wait, just talk amongst yourselves for a second because I forgot I have something really cool that I wanted to share with you guys, and I was really excited about it. And I gotta look it up.
Well, it's kind of like my hot water, it's like I wanted that too, and I don't get to have it. So what the fuck?
What happened? Well, do you want to go get, you mean like hot water in your house, like hot water,
No,
or like
with lemon to go with my wine?
What?
And my candle. I have a candle. It's not
hot
lit.
Water and lemon with wine?
Yeah, I have a water with lemon and a glass of wine. It's fall.
Hot water?
Yeah, hot water. I'm always walking around with hot water.
Okay, you guys, here.
Yeah, if I'm not, it's not me. I've been abducted and it's not me. So don't tell them any secrets. Don't trust that person.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
okay.
She does it all the time. Okay, so here it is. Guys, you can leave a review on our website or any of the podcast apps if you'd like to. But here it is from Mom of 3 in Michigan. She left us this review. It says, the title is The Best, ! These hysterical moms keep it real always. You'll laugh, you'll cry from laughing. You might even learn a thing or two. I was like, aw, that's awesome. I love it.
Do you know her?
No.
Right? I'm thinking that too. Did she put you up to this? Did she just give you $5 to say that?
No, I didn't pay anybody for a review.
I want 10% of that.
Shut it. And
we need a review from like, I don't know, Tennessee or something. You know what I mean? Like some Mississippi.
Why?
Then I'll feel like it's legit.
Why those?
First of all,
I need to know
legit.
Why. Well, not Tennessee because I'm from Tennessee, but maybe Mississippi or Alabama or something, and then I'll feel like it's legit. I'll feel like it's a legitimate review. Like,
so Michigan is not legit.
No, because you know people.
Okay, I know a lot of people like all around the country.
I know you're so popular.
I am so popular. I have people in California, Colorado.
Do you know anybody in Alabama?
I might. I have to think about that for a second.
Okay, this is a weird game. I bet between the 3 of us, we would all know somebody from one of the
every
states.
State. Yeah, every state.
I think we would.
Okay, so here's a really cool thing. I changed our tagline for, if anybody's noticed, I changed our tagline for our artwork, which I thought was pretty awesome. I'm like you guys, talking about the review podcast with Edward, we have really evolved from the very start to where we're at right now. We're episode 72. And so we've changed and evolved in so many different areas of the podcast. And I'm excited.
And adorable.
You guys.
Right.
So good.
Shut it.
Little puppy dog.
Is that your smoothie? Do you love it?
That's not my smoothie, bitch.
I'm calling it that from now on.
It's my smoothie. It's my alcoholic smoothie. Hydrated and healthy at the same time and relaxed.
That's funny.
Yeah. The man babe keeps, well, speaking of like states and stuff too, the man babe, it's like, it's fall. So, we're going into season. So it gets cold up in the northern states where we're originally from. So now.
What do you mean you're going into season?
like,
is it your time?
Like your dog?
Are we mating? Like what kind of season is this?
Like Florida has its season with the snowbirds. Jeez, oh Pete.
Right.
So
that's how you gauge your seasons, by how many people are there. Because the weather's the same all the time.
Exactly. It just gets hotter. But anyways,
right.
So the man babe this is the time of year that he starts sending me screenshots of Michigan weather versus like Florida weather. So like every morning I wake up to like a text from him with a screenshot of like, it's 35 degrees and raining. And it's like, 85 and sunny here. So I just thought that humid. Was funny.
It's good. It's good to remember that.
It is good to remember that. So anyways, okay.
I just want to point out flannel. I'm wearing a flannel because it's flannel season and you're wearing a cami.
I need to get a flannel. I'm going to need to get a flannel and I need to like rip off the sleeves. And then I would be
flannels are the best.
I'd fit right in. I have to tell, it's okay. You can just mute it if you want to, because Edward doesn't really like the chaotic noises. We got
take it or
points.
Leave it.
I know
it is what it is.
We got
you make him sound so high maintenance.
No, but we got points taken off for like the background noise.
We don't do high maintenance.
I know we don't.
And like take it or leave it. Not to be disrespectful, but it is what it is.
He's gonna be here any minute. Edward, he's the host of Am I Canceled podcast. And he did
I feel like he's probably better suited to explain what he does than you.
No, I know, but well, can you not boss me? I'm chatting him up. I'm chatting him up. I know you are. Apparently. We're going to air all that out. But before he comes on, do you guys have any other little pieces of chaos? You guys are just looking at me like.
I mean, besides what happened with my fucking phone and my life without having a phone, no, that pretty much consumed my life.
Is it your phone had to have been waterproof? I'm assuming.
I don't know what happened. The whole thing is fucking weird. I don't even know. How does that happen? How does your phone
using
end up
your
on the
phone
floor
now
in a goddamn parking lot? How does that happen?
I don't know. How do you
know.
forget your phone on a parking lot? Like, you know, how did a car not run over it? Like
it was in your pocket, right?
I know. Maybe no. That's never happened. This is not a normal occurrence. I wonder if I just like set it there because I forgot I was holding it. I kind of should.
Did you have it in your lap maybe? And like, was it by your car?
It was by where I parked. Yeah, maybe it was by my lap.
Maybe you got up and it didn't realize.
It was a fucking nightmare.
I just want to know, were you sitting on the ground in the parking lot and had your cell phone in your pocket? Is that what happened?
No, I wasn't. What's
Edward!
I'm so happy to see you.
Oh my God. We're so happy you're here and we are real. And
I am very excited to be here.
I have to tell you, and I just want to get this out of the way right now. I need to answer your burning question. Yes, I am okay.
It's actually the first thing I was going to ask you.
We're in tune. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you get to meet the lovely Ginger. She is real and alive and okay as well.
Real one. OJ.
And Nikki as well. So, and they are two separate people.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, I messed
both
up.
With red hair.
Absolutely did. Yes.
They do both have red hair. What is it with me and my redheads? I don't know what's going on there. That's like a little bit
fiery.
That's true. So we're so excited to have you here. Like apparently Ginger said that I'm not qualified to explain like all of what you do, but I was trying to let everybody know that you're the host of Am I Canceled podcast. So like, what is that? When I first got your email, I thought one, I was getting punked. Two, maybe it was spam. And then I realized it was real. And I was like, holy shit, we got reviewed. And then I thought I was going to throw up. And then Nikki and Ginger both talked me off the ledge. I was on the ledge, you know? And yeah, so like, tell us about it. Like, how did you get in? And by the way, cheers.
Cheers. I have water. Yeah. Not as exciting, but
you're
water.
Good. Water is welcome.
All right. So Am I Canceled? So it started off as like a school project. So I'm in college right now. And it started out as me co-hosting with another student, and we talked about pop culture and things like that. Eventually, she was like, I don't really want to do this kind of thing. And I started experimenting on things I could do on my own. And eventually what ended up happening is Buzzsprout. I would see Buzzsprout every day on the same day would have podcasters put their latest episode on there.
Yeah.
So I would troll the list and be like, well, let me check some of these out. And a lot of them were just bad. Okay. And I'm very gatekeepy because of going to college for it, I think. I don't know. It's just
You're very what? What was that word you used?
Gatekeepy.
Like
I love what you're saying right now. Yes.
So yes. I would go on and I would hear people like Lori Wandra, which I want to get into later. So I would hear people like Lori Wandra, who is a psychic medium, who we've both had, I reviewed, you guys had on it as a guest.
Yeah.
Just kind of throw audio up, not really put the production value in. And I was judging, I was like, so instead of just like being another podcast that trash people, I was like, let me form this whole rubric. Let me make a grading system. Let me actually do this to where it's productive. And I'm not just like, you guys suck, you guys are bad, and you shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
So I was like, I'll do this and I'll actually be able to, from some technical standpoint, from the things I'm learning in college and all this, be able to like provide at least some sort of advice. Sure. And every once in a while you might notice I get distracted in episodes and go off a little bit on different tangents.
But I think it's interesting that you came up with, is it 4 categories or are you up to 5 categories in your scoring system? Your made up scoring. Like
it was 5. It was 5. I think I'm back to doing pop culture right now because I got bored of doing reviews. Actually,
I saw that, and that's I saw that. But I think
love it.
I know. I'm interested.
I was like, oh, for sure. After Jocelyn was like, I booked him on here, and then I was like, okay, I better check out some of his shit. And I was like, oh, you're switching it up. I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I get because it just felt like I was doing the same thing every time. Eventually, it started feeling repetitive. Yeah, and I like to be able to have more open dialogue than, okay, here's what we're doing. This is your grade. Okay, this is what, and I felt like I started to say the same things over and over. So I'm like, let's just go back to talking about the news and stuff like that.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's funny because you just jumped ahead because I was going to ask you, like, it seemed like you back in October was like your last review podcast. And then you jumped up to the more recent, like the last 4 were more, like you said, like pop culture, not pop culture, but like news and like, current event-y kind of things. And a little bit like, I think you were kind of like dabbling in, getting in hot button topics and stuff like that. So that was interesting. And let's talk about when you reviewed our podcast, because I thought it was interesting. You always take the first episode, right? And then you take the most current episode.
Yep.
And then you rate the first one, and then you rate the second one. And I thought when I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, we were like at a 36% or something like that. But then when you said that most people get Fs and we got a D, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I was so happy. And then let's talk about this, because it was like, you mentioned Nikki in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We were a clusterfuck. Let's just call it out. Like, we were just like, wow, we don't know what's happening. We're just doing a podcast. This is so fun. But it was fun, and we have progressed. But the one, I guess it was like the more current episode was actually Ginger.
Yeah.
And not Nikki.
I confused it.
Yeah. And that's okay though, because that was like, that actually made for.
It's okay. We're both abusive. So.
Yeah. You guys are both assholes. That's what you are. Let's just call it out.
I want to know how you guys, like, each of you felt like with the whole beginning of the episode being like, are you okay, Jocelyn? Like when you heard me play back, it was Ginger. I actually played back the full thing, and I was like, this seems problematic. So what I'm talking about, of course, is so Jocelyn was talking about, and this was the latest episode of the time. Jocelyn was talking about you were annoyed because your child was doing something or something.
Oh, yeah.
And you went on this story for like a good 2 minutes or so. And then Ginger comes in and she tries to interact with it a little bit, but then you're just like, I'm trying here, but like, this whole time I'm just thinking, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, what the fuck? It just
feels how
so
long
mean.
I had to wait to pretend to try to listen so hard.
Oh my God.
There's so much of that, but I do it because you are unique. You're the one and only and the very best you there ever was.
Okay, well, first
love being around you, cutie.
Well, first of all, like, I bring the random chaos, like the kid chaos and the man babe chaos. Like, I have a husband that's basically like another child that I'm raising, so it's kind of like funny, and it's progressed. I mean, he kind of sound, it's like a funny thing. And then Ginger has always been like that sharp tongue, quick-witted kind of person in my life. So it's like a nice yin and yang, and then Nikki too. She's like a little like sarcastic and just sort of like,
snarky.
Yeah. And I kind of like help, I don't know, like smooth out the edges a little bit.
I'm more interested to hear how Edward sees it.
Yeah. Oh, shut up. Again, your bitchiness.
Well, you heard how I said
We're bitches. We're bitches.
Right.
So
I
it's
am
interesting.
A sweetheart.
I actually sat down with a group of friends last night because I was like, okay, I'm going to be on there. I need to re-listen to this episode that I did. So I sat with a group of friends and we're just listening, and we hear the part where I'm like, listen to this. And then I'm saying it was Nikki, but obviously it wasn't. And they hear it and everyone's jaw dropped. Like, what? Like, everyone's perception of that was like, how fucking dare Ginger?
Right?
You became the villain.
I'm a villain. Red hair.
That's funny.
I'm telling you, you go back, besides Jessica Rabbit, it's either like some crazy slut or like a serial fucking killer.
Okay.
Watch out for us. we're fucking crazy.
Yeah,
But
you're
I feel like it was
definitely-
important. I tried to like express like I don't know the dynamic here, but this is like but I think that's part of what was so fun about doing reviews is like I was kind of providing like the perspective of an audience member.
Yeah.
So like this is what I felt and this is what a group of people felt about it. And it's like I don't think people necessarily think about that when they're doing a podcast, how it's going to be received by the audience member necessarily.
I
No,
say
that's
that all
very
the time
true.
too. I'm like, the best guests we have on are always performers in some kind of way. It's just like being able to perform no matter what the medium
And
is,
understand.
like, helps. Yeah.
Because you forget that people don't know your dynamics unless you've established it over many shows or something. And new people, like I've had this problem too. When I used to have a co-host and we had this certain repertoire of ways we treated each other and everything, people would come in and think I was just being abusive to her too. So it's like I understand exactly where it's coming from, but just the snap judgment was like, holy shit. Are you okay?
And yes, I am okay.
He's okay.
I am okay. Like if you I always say, like, if you follow the chaos, you know, like if we have listeners that follow the chaos, and we've been building slowly and organically, and it's been like a lot of fun to see the progression. Because you know, when I listened to your review, I did re-listen to it too tonight, because I was like, I want to like re-listen to it. And I remember thinking some of the things that you said, like I did actually make changes. And you'll probably, if you listen to our latest episode, you'll probably hear even more changes. And I implemented some changes right away, you know.
She
yeah.
just
Plus
didn't change the co-host.
Right.
Well, I
Right.
kept them around.
For now. Beyonce.
For now, that's right. Stop it. I mean, it was like, you know, I mean, there was more of like the audio. Like we've always struggled with our audio, you know, and you were right. And a lot of it has to do with Zoom. I'm just too cheap to buy like Squadcast or something like that just yet. Trying to keep our budget down, like our monthly budget down. So, you know, the audio has been an issue, and we've been working on that since day one. And you called that out like right away. And, you know, I think we've also, it's been a learning curve too, because even though I do come from radio, that's what it was. Even though I do come from radio, like I did some production, but I was mostly an on-air personality. And when you said like, I don't get it, you're a professional. And I was like, you're right. That like that point, I changed it right away, you know, because it was like, I am a professional.
Yeah.
And now I'm a professional podcaster,
Exactly.
you know, so.
Professional broadcaster.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love podcasting. It's a great platform. I feel like it's been a lot of fun. You can be really creative, and you have a lot of room to do whatever you want to do. And it's been fun bringing in guests. And it was nice to hear someone else, like an outsider's point of view, come in and say like, I hear your progression. I see your progression. And we ended up with like an A, you know, like that was fun.
Yep.
It's because you're so pretty.
Stop it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole goal is yes, your first episode. I actually did a year in review of myself, everything that I've gone through. And actually after that, I graded my first episode that I ever did, and I gave it a big old F. So it's like, yeah, it's like everyone's trying to find their voice and figure everything out when they first start. So it's not surprising if you get like a lower score on a grading scale or something. Yeah. But that's why you listen to the most recent, and it's like, well, here's where we are now, and here's how well we've improved. Yeah. So I try to make it constructive as much as possible.
And I think it's with you go through the intro, host audio, content, and outro, and there's something I'm missing. And I like how you break it down to like audio quality, the length of the intro and the outro. Because I mean, how annoying is it when people play like music for days, right?
It's you. That's you.
No, I don't.
Yours is so long.
No, it's not. You have ADD.
Oh my God, it's
you don't
so
know what
long.
you're talking about. It's not that long. But I mean,
it's a good amount though, because I can click fast forward and it goes like right to the right part. So
we're talking like 30 seconds of music, or like, you know, like 20 seconds of music. So that's not our format. That's different.
I don't know.
You don't know what you're talking about.
What the fuck do I know?
Yeah, I always try to be like, hey, hire someone on Fiverr. Like if you don't know what you're doing at all, like hire someone on Fiverr to like do this grandiose intro for you, where you're not just playing music. Because I always dog on people, or I would, when they would just only music, and then it cuts off abruptly, and now you're talking. It's like, no, try to have like some intro that plays every single time so that everyone knows what they're in for, whether they're a first time listener or your biggest fan.
Yeah.
And then the music keeps playing, you talk over it, and then it sounds like you are actually, doing something.
Exactly. Yeah, that was probably the most fun. We planned this podcast. I mean, it was in planning, and Nikki and I, like, for a year, and there was like a huge learning curve. I actually had surgery. So like when we first got not started, we hadn't recorded yet, but like when we were in the process of figuring it out,
figuring out the name.
Yeah, figuring out the name.
A year.
I mean, that took like a year, and like figuring out how to actually, like, what's the format, and listening to some podcasts and like doing the research behind it. And so I had time to sit down and really think, but it was a huge learning curve. And there's a lot that goes into putting together a podcast. I mean, we're talking like scheduling guests, following up with guests. I mean, you name it.
Well, initially, I don't even think that we were even thinking about having guests.
Yeah.
It was just, all in fun, and just to kind of, see what we could come up with,
It's so much easier not having guests and just talking about news topics and having your co-host. But yeah, because I don't know how you guys book guests, but I would always go to, I think, podbooker.com. So I've had different seasons. It started with the season of co-host, and I went to the season of professional interviews, and then it was the season of drama, which is my favorite season, and then season of reviews. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
so much drama.
I feel like you've like seasons, though.
You've like come into your voice.
Yeah,
so much drama with losing friendships. My favorite thing, weirdly enough, is like a different podcast. Like they came at me, and then I came back at them, and then they quit podcasting.
What? No, wait. You have to talk about that, because I was going to ask you. Because I was going to ask you, because like how many review podcasts have you done? I mean, was it just one season? I mean, because you have 7 seasons, and I mean, you have quite a few review podcasts. So what has everybody been? I mean, I felt like I was kind of nice when I emailed you. Like I was like, hey. Yeah. But I assume that you ruffle some feathers. Like, I mean, it's just kind of like, I mean, I'm just kind of going off the cuff here. I'm not really sure. Maybe you might.
That's the vibe you're getting.
Kind of the vibe I'm getting. So I am assuming that everybody is nice and welcoming.
Well, the thing is, you had to. So your review was like 5 months ago or something that I put it out, and when you were one of the first ones that around the first ones when I started doing it. So that's when I was trolling Buzzsprout, and I would just do the review, post it, and then email the people and say I did it, which is an interesting thing to do.
Yeah.
But eventually I posted on Twitter, and I was like, hey, if anyone wants me to review their podcast, let me know. And then that got traction and retweets and stuff, and everyone just started putting their podcast. So eventually they were asking me to do it. So I've never really, no one's really, the most they'll do is argue. They won't like say, go fuck yourself or something. They'll be like, no, this is this. And I try to remind myself, like, just don't get in this argument, because they're never going to listen to you.
Yeah.
But like, they'll argue about audio stuff and different things. And I'll just be like, I mean, you do you. This was just my opinion. So,
yeah. No, that's cute.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you said that, because I was like thinking in the beginning when I listened to my podcast, the review, like again tonight, and I was like, oh, well, you mentioned Buzzsprout, right? And then like the more recent one in October, like one of the last reviews, it was more like people had submitted to you.
Yeah.
So I was curious to answer that question for me. So I'm happy about that. That's really cool. That's so cool. So who's the we? Like, is it just you? Because sometimes you say we, and I'm like, sometimes you say we, like we are, I don't know, in like your intro, or sometimes I'm like, how many are there of you?
I know. Okay. So I've had different intros, and I hire the same Fiverr guy every time.
Do you?
And yeah, I try to whatever I'm doing at the time, like wrap it around that. So the one that says we is from forever ago, and it's actually from when I had a co-host. So that's why it says something about we're getting canceled or something. It says something.
Yes, yeah.
But that was just me. I cut out like all the co-host mentions in the thing, and but I couldn't cut out that. And then eventually I just changed it. But like, so the most recent one talks about me being narcissistic and or misogynistic and a misogynistic cockroach or something like that. So
where did you get that? Like, did someone say that to you, or are you just being funny?
Yes.
Oh,
so that is from the podcast that quit podcasting after I responded to them. They called me like all those things and like tried to, and so I came back. So I was like, why like try to defend yourself from people saying like outrageous things? Just make it a part of you. It's like, fine, okay. Here's this intro now that says whatever you did. I also did impressions of them. It was fun.
Either way, like good attention, bad attention, you're getting attention. It's press. Like as soon as I heard this, I was like, oh my God, we're famous. Oh my God, we just got like amazing free press.
So Jocelyn was freaking out.
This guy is fucking
my
funny.
Stomach.
You know,
why?
It would suck if you were like some douche canoe like that sucked, and then like that would suck. This is better, and I am grateful. And you know, we learned.
I'm glad you guys took it in good. Well, that's the other thing is like this whole time I haven't known how you two, Ginger and Nikki, how you guys feel about it at all, because I only heard from Jocelyn. So I was like, I wonder what they think about it. So it's nice to be able to hear that.
When you were coming on, if I was gonna like bitch you out, or if he was gonna like freak out on you.
Yes, and I don't think you guys ever mentioned the review in a podcast. I don't think so. Anyway,
we might have.
Yeah, we did
briefly.
No, you did, because I wasn't there. I remember.
We talked
and I was like, you need to have him on.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
I missed it somehow.
But I want to know, like, Edward, obviously this podcasting thing feels like a side hustle. And I listened to one of your episodes where you talked about doing a talent show. Like, I have to say, I feel like you're getting kind of famous. I feel kind of cool for like how famous you're getting. I'm saying.
That's super.
Like, what are you up to for real? That's not the side hustle thing that you're doing.
Are you saying that because you see the guitar back there?
No, I was actually surprised to see that. I feel like it's more decoration. I didn't even expect that at all.
And I do have to say, like, and you can answer a question. I do have to say, like, I really can appreciate your production. All of your episodes are very well produced, and it sounds like you really take it seriously, especially if you're going out there and I was going to ask you, who is your announcer in the beginning of your intro and your outro? Yeah. I mean, you don't have to tell me who it is, but you get him from Fiverr, right? So he's a voice actor.
He's on Fiverr. I think I have him bookmarked. He's called like the production guy or something on Fiverr. It's like really, he's one of the most popular people.
Are you gonna throw your hat, your hat in the ring? Is that what you're gonna do? Because you're doing voiceover now.
Yeah, I switched over to voiceover, so I'm training right now. Which I was gonna say, like, you totally should, like, we should talk off the air. Right? You should totally get involved in that. So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So
he's like the production, or I think his title is your radio imaging guy. So that's how he goes, and he's got thousands upon thousands of 5-star reviews, and he's really popular on there. He does a really good job.
That's so cool.
So
what was that? Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, no, this is your side hustle. I started noticing from listening to some of your shit, and then you did this like talent show. And when I was listening to you talking about doing the talent show, like I was like, this guy's organized and he has businessness, which means a lot coming from me, even though you don't know that. So I'm excited to hear what you're up to.
So I am a college student first and foremost. I work on campus as a student worker, and I'm also I want to be involved in the entertainment aspects of the college. So any hosting job, any radio position they have there, that I immediately go for. Tutoring, communications, which is my major. I won 2 awards for leadership.
Very good.
For clubs and whatnot, and revitalizing the school newspaper and blah 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 blah. I'm cool.
You're fucking cool and nice.
And what year are you in?
I'm a junior now, so I'm about to get my bachelor's degree in about another year.
I'm
awesome. Asking because I have a college student, so yeah.
Yes. That's basically it. I just try to get involved in any of the entertainment stuff. It's good practice for this kind of stuff.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Like,
my ultimate goal would be to be a host of a talk show on Sirius XM.
Awesome.
I could see you. Yeah. Cool. And I could see you doing production too. Are you doing all your own production? Like, are you doing all your own stunts, or are you also farming? Are you farming that out?
No, I do everything. But the intro and outro.
Okay. Other than like voicing the intro and outro, but you're putting it all together, or does he produce it for you?
I mean, put it together is interesting. I actually found the website where he gets his backing tracks.
Oh, okay.
So he uses backing tracks, but his voice is just that voice, you know. I want that voice for my intros. Yeah.
Can I ask, like, when you were in school, were you like a kid that got really good grades? Did you have like matching highlighters? Did you like what were you like then?
In high school, no. In high school, I sucked. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hated high school, everything about it. Once I got to college, absolutely. I've stopped caring as much now. Yeah.
What's that?
I've stopped caring as much now. I still get A's mostly, but I'm not like I need a 4.0. It's not like that.
Yeah. But you like what you're doing.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that helps. That's what I keep telling my kids. I'm like, they're like, school sucks. I'm like, yeah, it does. You know, and I'm like, when you go to college, you can pick your classes. Now you have to take stupid shit that nobody cares about and will remember.
You still have to take stupid shit for 2 years, but then you get to
fair.
Yeah. Then you get to choose.
That's true.
Pretty much.
Sorry, go ahead. I have to ask you a quick question. So do you listen? Are you a podcast consumer? Do you listen to podcasts like regularly? And like, what's the last podcast that you might have listened to?
Yes, so I do podcast classes at school, which is awesome that they offer that at colleges now. It's really cool.
That is cool.
So what I like to do is listen to not what I do, if that makes sense. So I don't want to listen to like another talk show. I don't want to listen to Joe Rogan. I'll look at clips and stuff because it's interesting, but like I don't want to listen to that regularly or anything like that. I want to listen to the thing that I don't do, which is like the storytelling podcast, the true crime podcast. And it's just, it's partly because through the podcasting class, I always heard about like the serial podcast, but never listened to them. Started listening to them. Wonderful production, wonderful. Everything's so structured. And that's what you learn from like storytelling podcasts is structure. And then from the classes, you learn that even if you're doing a talk show that is chaotic, there's still a structure to it. There's a structure behind the madness. And that's what makes it still a good show.
Right.
Yes. We try to have structure without structure.
Absolutely.
Jocelyn is the epitome of structure.
That's
Ginger and I, not so much.
Yeah, no. Consistency is key.
She's got a list. We don't. We just
I feel like the seat of real quick.
This.
Real quick, I just want to say, so since I called out Ginger, or not called you out, but said what you said in the podcast, I want to put Nikki on the hot spot too.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so fair. Okay. So what your quote was, just so we get it in the podcast.
So it's even.
So this is pretty normal. This is what friends would say to each other, right? Like, it's because I'm your only friend. That's why I'm the one co-hosting with you, right? Normal.